The sun hung low in the sky, spilling a liquid gold across the rolling hills. Shadows stretched long and thin, curling around the roots of ancient trees and the rough edges of weathered stone walls. Elara walked along the narrow path, her bare feet brushing against the cool grass, each step leaving a fleeting imprint that the wind would soon erase. She had always felt drawn to this place, as if the hills themselves whispered secrets meant only for her ears. The village behind her was small, almost forgotten, tucked between the hills like a sleeping child. Smoke rose from chimneys, curling into the sky, carrying the scent of baking bread and damp earth. Children's laughter echoed faintly in the distance, mingling with the soft bleating of sheep returning from the pastures. But Elara's attention was elsewhere. She was following the pull of something deeper, something that had been tugging at her heart ever since she could remember. Her journey took her past the old stone bridge that arched over a sluggish river. The water reflected the sky in fragmented patches of amber and rose, broken only by the occasional leap of a fish. Elara paused, leaning on the cool stones, letting the sound of the flowing water calm her restless thoughts. It was here, she thought, that the ordinary world ended, and something more began. Beyond the bridge, the path narrowed and wound into a grove of ancient oaks. Their branches interlaced high above, forming a natural cathedral of leaves. Sunlight filtered through in thin beams, illuminating specks of dust that floated lazily in the air. Elara inhaled deeply, the scent of moss and damp bark filling her lungs. She could feel the life in the forest, subtle and patient, watching her with invisible eyes. As she walked, she noticed the air growing cooler, and a faint, sweet scent that she could not place drifted toward her. It was intoxicating, drawing her further into the heart of the grove. The trees here were older, their trunks gnarled and twisted, and at the base of one particularly massive oak, a small clearing opened up. In the center of the clearing was a pool of water, so still and clear that it mirrored the sky perfectly. The edges of the pool were lined with stones, worn smooth by time, and small flowers bloomed in clusters, their colors soft and luminous. Elara knelt at the edge of the pool, peering into its depths. She expected to see only her reflection, pale and freckled, framed by her dark hair. But the water shimmered, and for a moment, her reflection moved of its own accord. It smiled at her, a gentle, knowing smile that sent a shiver down her spine. She blinked, and the image vanished, leaving only her own cautious gaze staring back. Her curiosity ignited, and she reached out to touch the surface. The water was cool, more alive than ordinary water, as if it had a pulse of its own. When her fingers broke the surface, ripples spread out, and the reflection returned, this time showing not her, but a figure cloaked in shadows, standing at the edge of a world she could not see. The figure raised a hand, beckoning her silently. Elara felt a sudden urge to follow, a whisper in her mind urging her onward. She stepped fully into the clearing, and the ground beneath her feet seemed to shift. The air grew thick with the scent of blossoms and something more ancient, something like the memory of forgotten dreams. She knelt again and placed both hands in the water. The surface rippled violently, and a pull stronger than she could resist dragged her forward. Suddenly, she was no longer in the grove. The sky above was deep indigo, dotted with stars that seemed impossibly close, like lanterns suspended in a great hall. The air was warm and heavy, and the ground beneath her was soft, almost alive, responding to her every step. In the distance, shapes moved, vague, shifting forms that flickered at the edge of her vision. A path of glowing stones led her forward, each step illuminating more of the strange, dreamlike world around her. Trees with leaves of silver whispered to one another, their voices like wind through glass. Rivers of liquid light curved and twisted through the landscape, reflecting colors she had never seen. She felt no fear, only an overwhelming sense of wonder, as if she had stepped into a story long forgotten, one that had been waiting for her all her life. As she followed the path, the figure from the water appeared again, closer now, emerging from the shadows. It was tall, with a presence that commanded both awe and comfort. Its eyes glowed softly, and when it spoke, the sound was like music, gentle yet insistent. "You have come," it said. Elara nodded, unable to find words. "This place is not yours yet," the figure continued. "But it has been waiting. You are the first to see it in 100 generations. What is this place?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "It is the heart of what you call magic," the figure said. "A world parallel to your own, hidden in the folds of what is real and what is imagined. Few can enter, and fewer still can return. Elara felt a thrill run through her veins. She had always known there was something more, something beyond the village, beyond the hills, beyond the ordinary life she had lived. Now she stood at the threshold of that something, a doorway to possibilities she had only dreamed of. "Why me?" she asked. "Because you have seen with your heart, not just your eyes," the figure said. "You have listened to the whispers in the wind, and you have believed in the impossible. That is why you are here." The figure extended a hand, and Elara took it without hesitation. The touch was warm, grounding, yet filled with a spark of energy that made her pulse quicken. Together, they walked along the glowing path, deeper into the world that shimmered with unearthly light. They came to a clearing where the ground was covered in crystals that hummed softly, resonating with the rhythm of her heartbeat. In the center, a pool of water mirrored the night sky, more vibrant than any she had ever seen. The figure knelt by the pool, and the water rose to meet its hands, forming shapes that danced in the air before settling into images of far-off lands, creatures of myth, and events yet to unfold. "This is the memory of the world," the figure said. "Here, all possibilities exist. Every choice, every path, every dream. And now, you are part of it." Elara watched, entranced, as visions swirled before her eyes. She saw herself walking through forests of light, sailing on rivers of stars, meeting beings that shimmered with energy and wisdom. She saw laughter, sorrow, triumph, and loss, all woven together into a tapestry of endless stories. "Can I change it?" she asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. "You can only walk it," the figure replied. "You can explore, learn, and understand. But you must respect the balance. To take without understanding is to destroy." Elara nodded. She felt the weight of responsibility settle over her, but it was not heavy. It was a promise, a bond, a call to something greater than herself. She had always sought meaning, and here, in the heart of a world unseen, she had found it. Hours, or perhaps days, time moved differently here, passed as she explored, guided by the figure who never spoke more than necessary, yet whose presence reassured her at every turn. She walked through forests where the trees sang in harmony, across plains of shimmering grass that bent to her touch, and over mountains that glowed with veins of crystal. Everywhere she went, she felt the pulse of life, the heartbeat of a world that was alive in ways she had never imagined. Eventually, they returned to the pool that had brought her here. The figure knelt again, and the water shimmered, forming a gateway back to her own world. "It is time," the figure said. "You may return, but remember what you have seen. Carry it with you, for it will guide you in the world you know. And one day, perhaps, you will return." Elara stepped forward, her heart heavy with the desire to stay, yet filled with the knowledge that she must return. She touched the surface of the water, and a warmth spread through her body. The world shifted, blurred, and then she was kneeling in the grove once more. The stars of the other world were gone, replaced by the gentle twilight of her own hills. The village lay quiet in the distance, smoke curling from chimneys, the scent of bread still in the air. She rose, brushing grass from her hands, and looked around. Everything seemed the same, yet she knew it would never be the same again. She had seen beyond the veil, glimpsed the heart of magic, and carried a secret that would guide her every step. As she walked back along the path toward home, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying a faint, familiar melody. She smiled, knowing that the world she had discovered was never truly far away. It was always within her, waiting for the moment when she would return. And in that knowledge, she felt the quiet, steady pulse of wonder, of possibility, of a life that was hers to explore. The hills stretched endlessly ahead, golden in the fading light. Elara's footsteps were light, her heart full, and for the first time, she truly understood what it meant to be alive.